Welcome everybody to the target audience. I'm Josh, this is Alex. Content is made for everybody, but specifically, it's made for us, and hopefully for you too. Today, we're going to be talking about all of the Marvel stuff from Disney Plus Day this weekend. There was a few first look trailers that we watched, and there was also just some more general announcements about everything coming to Disney Plus in the coming year for the MCU, and it's quite a lot. A lot of it we did already hear before. It was kind of more just affirmations of, and then we did also get some footage that we're going to go over. So, Alex, we've already discussed on the channel before, but for anybody that this is their first video, we're both huge fans of the MCU. So going into this, what were some of the things you were excited for coming up on Disney Plus for the MCU, and what's some of the MCU stuff that you've liked so far on Disney Plus?
Yes. Well, if people don't know, you and we had our MCU journey start pretty much on the same day when we decided, hey, let's go watch Captain America, the First Avenger. And we just walked to the movie theater and we saw it. I think that day we both fell in love with the MCU. We knew about Iron Man, about Thor and everything, but when we saw the First Avenger, Captain America, we were like, okay, we're in, and we've been in. And I feel like, for me, everything peaked at Endgame. It's like, okay, this is the pinnacle. This is everything we've been building up for 10 years. And, it all came crashing down, and it was incredible. So I feel like everything after this is almost bonus. It's like, okay, my knowledge is, of all these characters is, at its top. I'm maxed out. And then all these other characters coming along, it's like, okay, I don't know anything about them, but I'm excited to go along the journey, especially with the stories of Loki, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, where everything is just expanding into, didn't even think it could go this far, especially with the end of Loki. I'm like, okay, things are getting nuts. I mean, Endgame and the time travel was okay, but now with the end of Loki and what's happening there with the multiverse, it's like, whoa, things are getting out of hand. So seeing all these shows, I'm super excited about them. I mean, I think up first we watched the teaser for Moon Knight, which is starring Oscar Isaac, and that's a character I know nothing about. But based off this 30-second teaser, I'm like, okay, I'm in. Oscar Isaac is one of the best actors working today, and within that 30-second teaser, I'm sold.
Yeah, it's cool to see this footage, obviously, in these teasers, but the reason we didn't really do reactions for them here, and we're just talking about them, is because, they didn't really show us that much. So, it's cool to see it, but I was excited for Moon Knight because solely of Oscar Isaac. I don't know anything about Moon Knight. From what I hear, he's, the closest thing to Batman in the MCU, as far as, he's just, a vigilante and all those types of things. So, we'll see. I have had some interest in checking out some Moon Knight comics before the show comes out, just to get a little bit of a taste of the character. But really, yeah, this is my most anticipated for these new shows, and it's solely because of Oscar Isaac. He's one of my favorite actors, and I think it's awesome that he's now going to be in the MCU as well.
Yeah, I'm glad he made the jump from the X-Men universe, which I think is now trashed. I think I don't know, because I think Disney.
Oh yeah, he was Apocalypse. Yeah,
he was Apocalypse. Yeah, so him to make the jump to the MCU, and I think this specific character has 4 different personalities. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's the character. So I'm very excited to see him take on a similar role that James McAvoy took with Split and see how he portrays that.
Yes, the character does suffer from DID, dissociative identity disorder. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how that plays out, absolutely. The other 2 trailers that we got to see were She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel. Again, didn't see a ton from either of these, and I don't know anything about these characters. The one piece of info we got is for She-Hulk. Confirmed Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo, is in the show, and you see him both as Professor Hulk and as Bruce Banner, just in this 30 seconds of footage. Obviously, you saw, spoiler alert for Shang-Chi if you haven't seen it, but it's on Disney Plus out. You can go watch it. You saw Bruce Banner in that movie as Bruce Banner, so it kind of raised the question, how does he no longer permanently be Professor Hulk? Maybe that'll be addressed in this show.
Yeah, the non-canon thought was, okay, they obviously don't want to spend the money on the CG to have Mark Ruffalo be Professor Hulk the entire time. That was our thought after seeing him in human form. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But then in this teaser, we see him as Professor Hulk, so you're like, wait a second, what's going on here? And I don't know. You saw a little bit of She-Hulk, and she looked kind of like we only saw like a few seconds of her body, but I'm like, she kind of looks like a Monstar from Space Jam for a second. But I'm sure by the time the show comes out, it's going to look great. But yeah, that teaser didn't really give us much at all. But hey, I'm buying what they're selling. I've been sold for a while.
Yeah, my best guess is that they're going to have this show mostly have her, Tatiana Maslany, I think is how you pronounce her name, as Jennifer Walters, her human identity as most of the show, and She-Hulk will probably show up a few times. Hopefully she looks good when she shows up those few times, and then whenever she's thrust into whatever movie she's going to be in, obviously they'll have the budget there. But even with the Hulk in the Avengers movies, you don't see a ton of the Hulk, except for obviously Endgame, where he's Hulk the entire time. So, well, I'm interested in that story. I do like that the Hulk is getting some type of, solo project. There are actually rumors, I don't know if you heard, Alex, that they are finally going to make a Hulk movie.
Really?
That they worked that out somehow with Universal, but that's just a rumor at this point. So
that'd be great. I've been waiting for that since 2008. So
yeah, but then do you still do it with Mark Ruffalo? Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
no, they bring back Edward Norton.
yeah, bring it back. Yeah.
As the same character, no explanation.
Honestly, it'd probably be pretty easy to explain now. He could just be a variant. With everything going on.
Yeah, in the Universal board meeting, we'll give you a solo movie, but you have to use Edward Norton.
Yeah,
damn it.
He busts into the meeting.
Yes. It's me. Damn it.
And then Miss Marvel, don't have much to say about this. Is actually one that I've heard from people, like, hey, you should check out these comics, because I guess it's actually like a very new run of comics. Miss Marvel, the character, it's not based on like an old, comic book like a Spider-Man, for example. This is a very new character. So,
oh, really? Okay.
We'll see how that goes. That one was actually supposed to originally come out this year, but it was delayed until summer of 2022. So we'll see that one. It gives off a little bit of a kiddish vibe, but also the character's a 16-year-old. So, I mean, what do you really expect?
That'll be cool to see another, because Spider-Man is always the young character coming. I mean, Tom Holland has been the young boy growing up as a superhero through this franchise. So it'll be neat to see someone else in that role, and a young female role. That's awesome. I think that's great. And because it's always, it's been Spider-Man in the MCU since 2016, really. So it'll be nice to see someone else as a young role. And also in Hawkeye, we have Kate Bishop as a young up-and-comer. And we might have some new up-and-comer. Yeah, things are exciting, dude. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I think Miss Marvel, wasn't she the main lead in the Avengers video game
that came out? Yeah, so I didn't play the game, but I believe she's definitely a character in that game. But I can't speak to the extent. I didn't play it.
Now, I noticed in the trailer that we watched, the teaser, that there's a lot of Captain Marvel references. She wasn't in Captain Marvel, was she? As like a young girl or any? Okay, no. So she's just a fan. Okay.
Yeah, I believe she's a fan and then becomes like a superhero somehow. I don't know how.
Uses the name. Okay, yeah. I'm sure they'll tell us.
Yeah, so those are the ones we got trailers for. Obviously, you already mentioned Hawkeye. We're not going to get really too much into that beyond just saying it starts in a couple weeks, and we are planning to at least do a watch-along of that here for the channel. So obviously, we'll react to that in real time. I am excited, but, we'll see. But one thing that I just noticed from Disney Plus Day is that this show, Echo, is actually going to be directly bouncing off of Hawkeye. The character, Maya Lopez, who is Echo, gets her introduction in Hawkeye. So I don't know anything about Hawkeye, but obviously we're going to see Echo in that show, and then she's going to have her own show later on.
Yeah, I know nothing about Echo, but hey, if it has something to do with Hawkeye, I'm interested. But one show I do want to talk about is Agatha, House of Harkness, because I saw that, I'm like, whoa, neat, awesome. Catherine Hahn as Agatha / Agnes in WandaVision was probably the best acting next to Wanda herself, next to Elizabeth Olsen. I mean, the range, she went from just, like goofy, lovable neighbor to the villain throughout that whole arc was just incredible, like totally believable and like compelling. And just the fact that she's getting her own show and they didn't kill her off that they do to some villains is wonderful. I'm just wondering what is this going to be a prequel? I mean, she's been alive since the Salem witch trials. So I'm curious at what points in history is this going to happen. Is Elizabeth Olsen going to be in this to let her loose for a bit? Because right now she's in Wanda's spell, like Agnes mode. So, and we have no teaser for that yet. So theories are running wild on that one, brother.
Yeah, and I think a big determining of the show will be, does Agatha show up in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness? It's already confirmed that Wanda will be in it, so it'll be interesting to see if she gets put in there as well. And yeah, I'm excited for the show. I think that this is like the only show that they didn't originally have any plans for, and then she was so popular that they gave her a show, so congratulations to her on that.
Seriously.
But yeah, I have no idea what it could be about. Rounding out the live action shows, we have Ironheart, which is about a young girl who becomes an inventor and creates, similar to an Iron Man suit, an advanced suit of armor. There's also Secret Invasion. Samuel Jackson finally returns as Nick Fury, and he'll be reprising his role, as well as Ben Mendelsohn as the Skrull, Talos from Captain Marvel, will both be in the MCU series. And Samuel Jackson, a picture was released this weekend. He actually does not have an eye patch in the show, or at least in this promotional photo. I mean, you just see his eye all like fucked up, like in Winter Soldier. So,
okay.
I guess he just ditched it. I don't know, but I am excited for that show. Definitely, I think that's it for the live action ones.
Yeah, I think all these shows were announced in the past, but the fact that Catherine Hahn's performance and popularity in WandaVision is like, you know what? Fuck it. You get a show. It's like, cool. You did a good job. You get some more work. That's incredible. But yeah, I just wish we had more trailers to watch.
Yeah.
I need more content.
Absolutely. Also, not really a show, but Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. They're going to get a Christmas special, which it will be directed by James Gunn. So, not sure how long that'll be, or if it's a full length. I doubt it's a full length movie. Probably like half an hour to an hour, I would guess. I would assume the whole cast is coming back, but not really much information on that. To get to the animated stuff, though, there were some big announcements. So, first of all, X-Men the Animated Series is being rebooted, brought back to life, and it's going to be, as of right now, the title is X-Men 97, which is, I believe, that's when the original series was on air. I've definitely seen X-Men the Animated Series. I definitely haven't, I haven't watched the whole thing, but I've seen episodes. It is entertaining. Pretty cool that it's coming back.
Yeah, not too long ago, I started watching episodes from that exact show, and I saw that scene... The meme where Wolverine's looking at the picture.
Yes.
I watched the episode with that scene. I did the Leo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Look at that. Yeah. And then I saw fucking Disney / Marvel themselves release that photo, and they're bringing back the show. I'm like, what? I watched the arc of Days of Future Past, which was crazy because we saw the movie in 2014. It was probably our favorite X-Men movie, you and I both. And to watch that arc and to see that they're bringing those characters back, I'm curious to what voice actors they're going to use and what arcs are they going to like. Things are crazy.
Yeah, I definitely would like to dive in a little bit more to the show before the reboot comes out, because I've really only seen the surface, just a few episodes of it. So that's one I got to dive more into. Also, What If gets a season 2. That was confirmed. I think everyone was probably expecting that. But that is confirmed.
Hope so.
Yeah, and related to that, Marvel Zombies is now getting its own full show instead of, it had the one episode in What If. Now that's getting its own show as well, animated.
I'm curious how they're going to do that, because we know the origin of how it happened. I mean, like what's going to happen? Like, is it going to be It's going to be the continuation of the end, where, spoilers if you didn't watch What If, but where it's, I think it was Black Panther, Peter Parker, the head of Ant-Man, arriving at Wakanda, but then Thanos shows up at the end as a zombie with the Infinity Gauntlet. Like, is it going to be a continuation of that? Is it going to be a different multiverse? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
But What If Season 2, I mean, I hope they continue Captain Carter's story, first and foremost. They had that teaser at the end where she reunites with frozen in ice Steve, which, brought me back to the end game, that, heartfelt moment. Because I always... It broke my heart knowing those characters weren't together. Even like there's a million universes going on. So hopefully they do something there. But as in terms of, are they going to make all new stories? Each story from the previous one gets a continuation. Like, once again, things are wide open. Like,
yeah. And then
I'm here for it.
The last thing announced here for the animated Spider-Man Freshman Year, it's going to be an animated series that follows Peter Parker early on, before he was in the MCU, on his road of actually becoming Spider-Man. So we never got to see Spider-Man's origin in the MCU with Tom Holland. This animated series seems to be that filling in the blanks of the younger Peter Parker actually, getting bit by the spider and learning to use his powers as well.
Oh, really? It's that canon? And him as a kid?
Yes.
I mean, him, like, wow. That's right, because we
think
never found out how.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Tom Holland. At least it doesn't say so that he's reprising it here. But so they'll probably just have us sound alike. But yes, it will be the Peter Parker that is in the MCU.
The kid who plays him in What If, I don't think that's Tom Holland, but he sounds pretty close. So they might as well use that guy. He does a good job. Wow, I mean, cool.
So yeah, gonna be a lot of content for sure. If there's anything in particular that you guys would like us to watch along to once it comes out in 2022, let us know. And yeah, definitely excited for a lot of this. Like I said, Hawkeye will be doing the watch along when that starts in a couple of weeks.
I'm Alex. This is Josh. We are the target audience. Listen, content is made for everybody, but we think it's specifically made for us and hopefully for you. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.